Before Nintendo Switches and PlayStations and iPads and all the other electronic devices, we played a game, you may remember this game, called hide and seek. It was weird because you would physically interact with other people. It was a strange phenomenon, but I was a pretty good hider, I have to admit. Actually, one time I hid underneath the box spring, between the mattress and the box spring, and went through a whole carton of Fig Newtons, which didn't turn out well for me. But the thing about hide and seek is it's great until you get to the point when you realize I've hidden so well that no one is looking for me anymore. It's the difference between hide and seek and being lost. You lose the joy of the game when you realize that nobody is looking for you. Since the beginning of humanity, since Adam and Eve went rogue in the garden and ate that fruit from the tree, God and humanity have been in this battle of hide and seek. And we have been hiding, and we have been hiding well. And throughout the Old Testament, we see it documented how God sends this search party of priests, prophets, and kings to come looking for humanity, to call us back, to remind us of what it is that we're made for, and to remind us that the Lord still loves us, even as often as we have turned away. And so again and again, God comes in search of his people. Today is the ultimate celebration of God searching for us. God desperately wanting to find us. And we've hidden ourselves in a lot of things. We've hidden ourselves in the darkness of sin. We've locked ourselves in prison cells in order to kind of hide away. We've blended in with the crowd around us so that we don't stand out. And through it all, God keeps looking and looking and looking. He's searching for us. He wants to call us by name because we weren't meant to live in the darkness. We weren't meant to cover ourselves with grief and sadness. We weren't meant to live that way. We're meant to live in the light as children of the light. To stand in front of the world and say, we have been made in a beautiful way. We've been made in the image and likeness of God in order to reflect to the world this brilliant light that has made us. And yet so often we choose what is in darkness. We choose to hide. Just as Adam and Eve hid from God in the garden, even though God simply wanted to walk in their midst. God has come for us. He has come for you. No matter what it is that you're wrestling with in your life, God has come for you. And God will use anything in order to pull you back to himself. In the midst of all the temptations that come our way, and there are many that come our way these days, and in the face of persecution, in the decisions that we make, whether or not we're going to live for God or live for ourselves, in all those moments, Jesus comes to us and he kneels beside us, and it's as though he's begging us, saying, don't turn from me because I love you like no one else. Don't hide from me because I just want to embrace you and remind you of who you are. And Jesus is there kneeling in front of us, begging, come back to me. Because God will always find us. But God never forces us out of our hiding place. It's always an invitation to come back to him. And God will use anything to attract us to himself. You know, the other night we had that beautiful candlelight concert, if you were able to make it here in church, and the church was beautiful and pitch black, all these candles surrounding the sanctuary, and I was just looking at the way that the crucifix was lit, because here is this beautiful display of music, and in the background is Christ saying, look what I will do for you. Pay attention, because everything that's beautiful is me. Everything that's true is me. Everything that's good is me. Whether it's Beethoven or Chris Stapleton, whether it's a beautiful sunrise or a beautiful sunset, whether it's the mountains or the clear waters of the Ohio, whatever it is, God in all of it is saying to us, I'm looking for you. I want you. And there are so many in our world today who say, look, I have too many doubts. I don't believe that God loves me. I don't believe that God exists. It feels as though God doesn't care because we've hidden so well that now we feel lost and we feel like no one is looking for us. But friends, I'll tell you, he is looking for you. You personally. No matter what sins you've committed, no matter how much you've crawled into the ground and buried yourself in darkness, Christ is looking for you to say to you, come with me to the house of the Father. Come with me to a place where I can nourish you and lift you up and remind you of your dignity. Come with me so that I can show you a life that is really worth living. This is what Jesus does. Again and again, he comes back and he comes back. Every time we run to the caves or bury ourselves, Christ comes back and says to us again, I'm looking for you because I love you. There in that original house of bread of Bethlehem, Jesus gave himself to us in the form of a tiny child, laying himself in a manger. In this house of bread, he gives himself to us again in this Eucharist to say, here I am. I've been looking for you the whole time. Let's stop hiding. Let's stop running. Let's let the Lord grab onto us and bring us to himself so that we can be reminded of our dignity and of the love of the Father.